ドザ・ワールドの正体は時間じゃ。時間を止めるスタンドなんザ・ワールド。
Hello everyone, and welcome back to attempting to beat Plants vs. Zombies 2 with only 25 SUNCOST plants, part 4. Previously, we made it through the Lost City without any difficulty, and additionally made it through the Far Future without any issues. But both of those worlds are really easy, and we were on to Dark Ages, the shortest of all the worlds, but also the only world that doesn't have sun falling from the sky. There is no serious issue for us, as we can derive sun from both tombstones, using our favorite klepto-parasite tomb tangler to instantly steal it, and we also have sun shrooms for worlds that don't have tombs. And in all honesty, for a majority of this world, we aren't really going to have any problems at all, simply due to the fact that we are a fundamental counter to every land effect of the map. We don't really use much sun anyways, and have producers for both. Tomb tanglers are basically 4 times their return rate on sun, and can completely turn the zombies against them. We also have the second cheapest sun producers in the game, and even in regards to jester zombies, butter can not only pool on them, and directly hit them for some reason, with the inconsistency of butter being very perplexing. But yeah, for most of these days, I'm just not really going to have anything of value to say, and just breeze right through everything. Nothing of value happens until day 9, where we get the zombie potions day that lock off tiles to not be used by me, and empower zombies that walk over them, making them either stronger or faster. This is no issue, Tomb Tangler stun lock moving on. And right after that, we go back to blitzing our way through pretty much everything. The wizard zombies show up not much later, who can potentially be an issue if they don't come alone, specifically if they don't have an armored zombie in front of them, but then again, that's what Tomb Tangler's insta-kill attack is, for slaughtering them instantly. Day 12 is an interesting day because it requires you to protect puff shrooms throughout the day, but since puff shrooms slowly disappear over time and can only be refreshed with plant food, it requires you to consistently feed them it throughout the day. However, this isn't hard by any means, mainly because they constantly spawn in plant food tombstones, and we can beat it without even using sun shrooms. Day 13, Conveyor Belt, you will be visited by a void monster tonight in your sleep. Day 14 is a produce sun mission, but it also locks you to specific sun producers, so this day in a larger sense doesn't count, but we attempt it anyways just using our own plants as defenders, and we have no issues. Day 15, plan your defenses, but there's not really much planning going on. We just fill the entire map with scaredy shrooms, landmines, and buttercups, and adding in tomb tanglers as fast as I can, and soon enough we're done. Day 16, with only 4 days left, finally gives us some difficulty, with the king zombies that will turn peasants into knights, making it much worse on us because scaredy shrooms, even in groups of 3 or 4, aren't going to take out a single knight in a competent amount of time, so we revert back to using mostly tomb tangler and potato mines, and even lose a lawnmower, but other than that, we still made it through mostly fine. Day 17, Potions Part 2. The tombs spawning throughout the waves are supposed to make this more difficult for us, but Tomb Tangler causes them to have the opposite effect, and I even murder the Gargantuar at the end just for the funny. Day 18, survive with the given plants. Tomb Tangler committed charity fraud with a cryptocurrency rug pull. Day 19, protect the magnet shrooms, but since they're the exact counter to the night zombies that we need, after we ensure their protection with buttercups and or tomb tanglers, we're actually able to more easily make it through all the nonsense of this day. And with day 20 being to threaten to poop inside Dr. Zomboss's mouth while his dragon girlfriend watches, we were done with the Dark Ages. And then we move on to Neon Mixtape Tour, one of the harder of the challenge worlds, due to its wide variety of insta-kill zombies and the nonsense each of them brings with them. This will become apparent before even day 10, with a handful of them being introduced in no time. We additionally get a handful of unique fights in some of these missions, which will become more prevalent later on, with arguably the most powerful zombie summoner in the game in this world. But there's not really too much to talk about on these opening days, and we make it through most of them just fine. Day 5 protects some nonsense, and it's worth noting that in regards to other challenges, we're at a significant advantage when it comes to protecting endangered plants, as not only can we spam plant wherever we need, but we also have things like buttercups and another stunner, which will get reintroduced later, which will allow us to stun lock pretty much any zombie we need to, meaning if we can get any finale wave down to only 1 or 2 lanes, I can basically win no matter what, as with my butter, I can just slowly whittle them down with their time-stopping butter.
The time has frozen.
Yeah, but anyways, moving on. There are a lot of pre-picked plants and conveyor belt waves in Neon Mixtape Tour, it's strange. And on day 11, a pre-picked plants wave, I had a potato mine on it, so I went ahead and gave it a shot, but no, I don't think it's mathematically possible for this one. Whatever, it doesn't count, moving on. Day 12 introduced our first Garg of Neon Mixtape, which are particularly dangerous in this world due to having a ranged insta-kill attack whenever their song is playing. Well, I should preface this by saying normally it would be dangerous, but 25 some plants is hardly a loss of anything. And it isn't until day 13 that we get to our first loss of a day in a while, being due to my insistence on not using Scaredy Shroom's ultimate plant food, as it's a plan your defense day with roller skaters, rappers, and tons of bucketheads, meaning the only competent way we are getting past the bucketheads fast is with potato mines, but there's just too much that comes towards the end, and the barely ending up managing to overwhelm us pretty much every time. Thus, I reintroduce our old friend from before, the Stunion, who can powerfully slow any zombies directly in front of it for a decent amount of time. However, even with Stunion, I wasn't able to do this, which was now putting me in a partial panic mode, as this day could now become a potential run killer. Yeah, the thing is that I'm making it through most all of these days first try ever since I added Scaredy Shroom, but the big problem is that there's only 9 25 SUNCOST plants in the game, and the only 2 I haven't used yet are both aquatic only, meaning pretty much everything I've got is what you see here. I eventually give in and decided to use plant food on the Scaredy Shrooms, even to the point to where this was one of the only points in the entire game where I actually ran out of sun, and we do still make it with a fair bit of breathing room to spare after I use the plant food. I'm still ashamed.
My new prison is shame.
My new prison is shame!
Day 14, yet another pre-picked plants day. I don't even have a joke for this yet. Day 15, guard the fat beats, but their slowing is actually a welcome addition with their little bit of damage, considering I'm protecting all of them with butter, and with their help we get through this day with little issue. Day 16, ultimate battle wave, Stunion as a looks maxer. Day 17 and 18, we were temporarily back to just using the communism strategy of spamming a nonsensical amount of 25 SUNCOST plants, coating the map in a thick layer of butter and Scaredy Shrooms. Mainly, I kept using this strategy because it was largely just the strongest thing we could muster. We keep pushing too, largely not really changing our strategy either in most cases, just capitalizing on our ability to basically stunlock some zombies forever. We don't get our next failure until about day 21, where we're tasked with not letting the zombies trample the flowers. The failure largely coinciding with the fact that breakdancing zombies tend to throw other zombies on top of your flowers, so I have to plant butter on both the tile in front of them and behind them, but after making some corrections we finish it pretty well. Conveyor belt, conveyor belt, conveyor belt, I'm becoming more feral by the second. Day 23 introduced the Nerd Zombie, who is arguably the most powerful summoner on the zombie side, as his arcade can create entire hordes of digital zombies, including bucketheads, making him a formidable opponent even for the plants of Neon Mixtape Tour, including Spore Shroom, who is ironically supposed to be the counter to him. Plus, they are just pretty tanky in general, as is with all the zombies with his physique. It's not too big of a deal when we have 4 whole Scaredy Shrooms popping him at once, and if he pushes the arcade into an active potato mine, it goes off instead of being destroyed, instantly breaking his machine. We don't have our next loss until day 26, where we're tasked with protecting some Spore Shrooms, but I made the goober decision of not letting the punk rockers kick them further back in the lane, so that it would be easier to defend, and they got rapped on by the rapper zombies who rapped all over them, who we just let the punk zombies kick them back next time and finish the day fine. Day 27, it's getting harder to ignore the screams. Day 28, I don't know, the jukebox zombies show up en masse on all your plants, but that doesn't really apply to instant effect plants, so we kind of just refer back to the communism strat. Day 29 is interesting, seeing as how my strategy for fighting against Gargantuars went from using potato mines to now just stun locking them while my Scaredy Shrooms shoot them full of bullets. Day 30 was never have more than 15 plants, which is a significant hindrance on us, but not as much as losing more than X amount of plants, so we just throw expendable plants on each of the ways as fast as possible while trying to make the most of plant food, and we first try it. And with day 31 being to survive with the given plants, and day 32 being to give Zomboss constructive criticism of his music, we were officially done with Neon Mixtape Tour. And we are on to Jurassic Marsh, where there is officially no more even inkling that the world is easier now. With the Jurassic Marsh's heavily armored variant boneheads showing up in the very first wave, potato mines will help us deal with them all early game. Now, in Jurassic Marsh, the dinosaurs can get pretty bad, especially in later game with the T-Rexes and Ankylosauruses, but largely another huge contention about Jurassic Marsh that makes it difficult is the blatant increase of armored zombies, having potentially more of them showing up than even later worlds, and all of this starting almost immediately. I mean, yeah, early on the raptors can kick zombies over defenses, including our butter, but we also have 2 stuns at hang 'em high ready at all times, even if one of those is just planting more butter to time stop them. The Stegosaurus is a little bit more dangerous than the raptor due to the simple fact that it can launch zombies into lanes that already have lost a lawnmower, meaning it can solo end days, but considering my plant composition, the likelihood that I don't catch them doing that in time is fairly unlikely, so it's just more of a mild inconvenience.
I am a Stegosaurus!
Pteranodons were the next series of Jurassic goobers who drop zombies on the opposite lane in the opposite direction, but have the hidden plus side of making that zombie no longer able to win the day. Day 12 is don't lose more than 6 plants, abruptly causing our first loss of this world due to my expendable strategy, not really capable of functioning here, so we have to be ultra preservative with our placements, even employing my previous strategy of planting in front of the buttercups after they've been used. I actually failed this twice, with the second time being just because I simultaneously came to terms with the fact that I would probably need to use Scaredy Shroom's plant food effect. Whatever, it's done, moving on. Day 13, nothing of importance happened, and we are largely just able to out-attrition the zombies. Day 14, survive with the given plants. No, I'm not going to test if I can stall the whole wave long enough with sunshrooms. Day 15 had me protecting some primal walnuts, and fortunately we have the exact correct tools for the job though. One does get a bit low towards the end, but we also had some plant food, so we just turn that walnut to stone with it, and we get through the day pretty fine. Day 16 was the ultimate butter wave, and we get back to just punching our way through the heavily defended areas of Jurassic Marsh, with my in-game strategy being more than satisfactory with most of these zombie waves, and not really needing to change my strategy for non-special days. Day 20 has us producing at least 5,000 sun, but with Sunshroom there's no real problems here, even with raptors trying to dropkick zombies all over them all the time, including but not limited to gargantuars. Day 21 is the introduction of the T-Rex, who is capable of giving a loud roar that will cause all zombies in that lane to move extremely fast until they collide with a plant. Normally, this would be the second or even the worst dinosaur of all for the challenge playthroughs, as the instant blitzing can be hugely negative to destroy entire plant defense lines, and this applies to my plants as well, but given I have all cheap, mostly all fast, refreshing plants, I can pretty much use all of them against the T-Rexes as glorified speed bumps, clavicular style.
Is he dead? Hopefully.
And after that, we were entering into the final days of Jurassic Marsh, and so far, most of the world has been pretty easy. I was still concerned, though, as it's usually the final days of Jurassic that are the hardest. That fear was resolved when I was able to first try the Ankylo introduction day, with their main gimmick being slamming into the nearest plant, knocking it back with a zombie, and even capable of dodging lawnmowers. Joke's on them, I just speed bumped them. Day 26 was don't plant on the mold colonies, all while also protecting against the Ankylos, putting me in a fairly tight situation. I did fail this the first time, but ironically it wasn't because I lost the wave, but because I accidentally pressed the zap button, prompting an automatic restart. I make it through the second time just fine, but even then, imagine my shock. Day 27, plan your defense. Surprisingly, significantly easier than the Neon Mixtape tours due to the Jurassic Marsh's lack of insta-kill plants. Even the Ankylos can't get past the potato minefield. Day 28 had a somewhat close fight with me losing half my lawnmowers towards the end, but largely the Pteranodons screwing over their own side by switching around all the armored zombies. Day 29, given survive with plants and Day 30 was the last big effort of the Jurassic Marsh zombies, with them sending numerous gargantuars and buffing them using T-Rexes to lightning blitz past the lane. Our stuns end up proving just too much for them, with the end predictably being me stun-locking several of them at once, including the Jurassic bullies too. But with Day 31 being survive with the given plants yet again, and Day 32 being to awkwardly find out that Dr. Zomboss loves clankers, we were officially done with Jurassic Marsh and Part 4 of the challenge, leaving us with only 2 worlds left, and after that, our challenge will be won. But if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more like it, please leave me a comment down below letting me know your thoughts as well as what you'd like to see next, both Plants vs. Zombies and otherwise. And if you're new here, please consider subscribing, as among my channels, I upload new long-form content every week, as well as new shorts most every other day, encapsulating variety content, including challenges, guides, memes, audience participation, playthroughs, and even theories. Also, join the Discord with the link in the description as well as the pinned comment to become part of the show. But with all that being said, thank you again so much for watching, and big thank you to my channel and Patreon members, and I will see you all next time.